Hello everybody, the first weekly action report live stream going live now, right now. The game has been out in the wild for a week, so we have a lot of stuff to talk about, and I'm not going to do that alone. With me I got Simon Vickers.
Hello.
Do you want to tell them what you do?
Sure, yep. So I'm Simon Vickers and I'm the Game Director on Extinction.
Cool. For those who wonder why Brian Lee and Julian isn't here today, like I promised about 2 weeks ago when you all sent in questions, is because Brian Lee is sick and Julian will be with us next week. So I'm keeping those questions for them. But we got some golden company right here.
Yeah, gotta make do with me.
And if you read previous dev diaries, then you might recognize Simon's name, but not his title, because the day that we actually published the dev diary, you got that promotion. And before you were a lead designer.
Yes, that's right.
And now you're the game director. So how has your day-to-day changed from?
Not a huge amount, to be honest with you, or at least not much that I can actually tell what with it kind of coinciding with launch week, because my day-to-day would change anyway when that kind of goes around. So into the future, it will be a much more kind of planning than being kind of hands-on, a lot more communicating with individuals on the team and things like that, and just making sure they get everything they need direction-wise. So yeah.
Cool. You're busy.
Yes. Yes, I am.
With the game being out for a week, we have our inboxes full of questions and forums and everything. So we're just gonna jump right into getting some questions answered. First one, probably the most common one. Why 3 players? Why not 4 or more?
Well, that's a very interesting question. When we first started out the game, we actually did have 4 players as part of our kind of squad size for quite a while. Just through kind of like testing, we kind of naturally found that 3 players was almost like a magic number. For squad size, it was just kind of more fun and more balanced with that kind of team size. That largely comes down to kind of like, you see a lot in games, that kind of rock, paper, scissors kind of dynamic. It actually kind of introduces more interesting choices because you're not completely symmetrical. You're not just kind of splitting things down the middle. One little side supports the other and supports the other one, and it kind of comes together nicely. So yeah, that's why.
Cool. How many game modes are planned? Is the survival/horde mode being considered? And we have already announced that we're going to have a horde mode on the roadmap. Do you care to elaborate a bit what that is going to entail?
Sure, yeah. So when that was actually released, announced, at least on the roadmap, I didn't know that was going to get announced. It was a feature that was definitely on the cards. We've been planning for a while, and obviously it was quite a requested thing. But to have it kind of put out there and committed to means we have to do it now. So yeah. So it's quite early on in its planning stages, but it will be coming up in future releases. You're talking about other game modes as well. The reason why it's coming later is because we have something else called free roam, which we're working on at the moment, which is a much bigger kind of feature than it may imply. It's not just kind of walking around the world doing the same things you're doing on a mission. We wanted to kind of create more of a structure out of that. So a lot of people are talking about solo play and getting that kind of reinforced, and free roam kind of comes into it. So it pulls a lot of systems together, like our war effort and kind of our activity systems and all that kind of stuff. It'll be a way to digest more kind of small bite-sized kind of content that changes on a weekly basis. So yeah, that should hopefully do a lot of work.
Really cool. And this question is actually a perfect segue because the war effort update is just around the corner. So the question is, let's see here. Will the difficulty of the regions be calculated of how many % of the player base got a victory or enemy pushbacks? In other words, can you tell us how the war effort will work? And while we do that, we're actually going to bring up a little infographic that our graphic designer Olivia has made to explain it a little bit more.
So yep, the war effort is things that's going to be talked about quite a bit in marketing. It's our dynamic difficulty system that responds to the actions of every single player that's playing at any given time. So basically, as you say, it takes a lot of different statistics that we track based on everyone's play sessions, and then kind of figures out from that whether there's been a majority kind of dinosaur victory or a majority human victory. And then things get more difficult in areas where there's been a dinosaur victory, easier in a human one. It's, at the moment, very kind of bare bones and basic. Basically, that's one of the reasons why I went into early access in the first place, was because this is going to be so driven by the community, by stats and things like that, that we couldn't really guess how it's going to work out. So we're keeping an eye on everyone's kind of actions and doings at the moment. So yeah, it's interesting.
Cool. So be ready for the update tomorrow. We actually have a really cool war effort trailer that we put up a couple of weeks ago. And to get into that, well, kind of war effort hype, I guess.
Yeah.
We're going to have it, give it another look.
Peggy 18.
Welcome to the war effort. Dinosaur threat level at 1. Prepare for deployment. Dinosaur threat level at 2. Prepare for redeployment. Warning, dinosaur threat level at 3. Prepare for emergence event.
Such a good trailer.
So good.
How do you think the community has done? Is it going to be a completely red map, or do you think they have done well?
I'm proud of everyone, to be honest with you. We've been looking at the stats as it's been coming in. They are surprising in a lot of ways, obviously because of this teething issues and things like that. But at the moment, it seems like people are doing well. So we may have to bump
Good
things up a
job.
little bit.
Without spoiling too much, could you tell us like what could happen in an emergency event?
Ooh, yeah. So emergence events, they are basically what happens if an area is left unchecked, the dinosaurs take control, and they do a big push. So that's going to be where we find a lot of our kind of like what we call kind of end game content. It's like the big challenging things that we want people to kind of come together and overcome. So we want it to be kind of our big spectacle kind of moments and things like that. So it's, yeah, not able to give a huge amount away because we want them to be kind of surprises, but
Yeah.
expect tough opposition and kind of spectacular things happening.
So even though you should try to do good and kill off as many dinosaurs as possible, these sound kind of exciting.
Yeah, exactly. Don't try so hard. Let's make sure you see
Not
these
so hard.
things.
Yeah, so before we jump into some more questions, I want to lift some issues that we've been having and that we're working on, like the ultra-wide screen issue. This is being worked on, and we estimate that there will be a fix going into the game next week. And we also have people talking about key bindings, especially movement. So it's the WASD, so for the lefties, the left-handed. Should be very clear on that. This is also going to go into the game very shortly. And crashes and different type of lags is obviously also being very much worked on. This is more of a complex issue, so it's not as easy maybe as just putting in another like feature or getting those key bindings right. And your help here is still very, very valuable. So please do send in your crash logs to us. You do that on support.secondextinctiongame.com. There's also a guide there that you should do first. So just normal troubleshooting stuff that you should go through. And it actually helps out a lot of people who has crashes and makes them disappear. And if they don't, please send us your logs so we can have a closer look. Yes. Some more questions.
Go for it.
You ready?
Yep, bring them on.
Will there be boss battles?
I mean, you've got your Rex. I mean, that's a pretty
Is that
hefty.
enough for you?
Exactly. We'll have to see about doing some more on that. Yeah.
And this is more of a statement one, but healing should take priority over auto reload.
That is very specific. Yeah, but it does highlight some interesting kind of points and things like that, which is we want our kind of control system to be as responsive as possible, so that you can, it's not fighting against you, and it's doing the things that we want it to do anyway. So a lot of that is a case of you've got a lot of possible actions going on at any given time that the player can do, especially in the middle of a firefight, and you just do not want it to do the wrong thing at the wrong time based on the intent. And just because of all those kind of different permutations and interactions going on, some things do kind of fall through the cracks. So
Think you're going to change it?
That one, I think, yes, that one is definitely something that seems, undesirable.
Undesirable, for sure. Another one of these, can we run and reload at the same time for the next patch, please?
Yeah, well, that's on the other end of the spectrum, which is it's something which is very similar, but is actually kind of by design as well. We're a very fast-paced game. You're equipped with guns, the dinosaurs with claws and teeth. We needed to give them some kind of advantage. So if you were to be able to kind of sprint and reload at the same time, then the combat loop would probably just descend into you running away as fast as possible, turning around, shooting them for a while until you run out, turning around, sprinting, reloading, and just kind of doing that over and over again. Having that kind of choice, that kind of restriction, means that you have to be more tactical, be more aware of your surroundings, making sure that players are covering you and things like that when you are reloading and stuff like that.
So it's a no.
It's a no, I'm afraid. But yeah.
And then we have one of the most commonly talked about asked questions. I think you know which one.
Yeah.
Text chat or voice chat into the game.
Yes, that one is a big one. Obviously, it's a co-op game. We want to be giving you the tools to be able to kind of coordinate with your friends and to kind of cooperate and communicate. But having those inbuilt kind of texts, voice and things like that comes with a lot of extra work that we haven't been particularly equipped for. It's not just a simple case of throwing in text. As soon as you do that, you start to introduce possibilities of toxicity in the community and things like that. There's a whole reporting system that would need to be done. Translation things, accessibility problems and things like that as well. That all need to be kind of figured out. We're aware of a lot of the kind of communication requests and things like that, and we're trying to come up with a solution that kind of either incorporates all those things as well in the near future, or kind of figures out exactly what the crux of the things are that you are trying to communicate about, and making those easier. So yeah, it's a big one.
For sure. And cars or vehicles going to be added to the game?
That's another big one.
Yeah, I'm just bringing them on here.
Yeah, brilliant. First week and all that. We don't have any plans for cars and vehicles. Again, kind of gives an unfair advantage to the players.
Yeah.
And the scale of our world doesn't quite support it just yet. We can't rule anything out, but we're not planning for it. But what we may kind of be doing is looking at the reasons why people want cars and vehicles. It's not just because you want to run over raptors and make them go splat. Maybe it is a case of like, it's a little bit, that would be cool.
People want like turrets.
Exactly, I know, it would be cool, I admit. But yeah, it's finding the best way to introduce them if we did have them into what we have at the moment. And that's no easy task. But if there are things that we can do to ease traversal through our world, make it smoother, or more have just more interesting things to do on the way to places, I think that's a bigger discussion to have.
Yeah, for sure. And have you considered doing crossover events with Generation Zero or Hunter Call of the Wild?
That's a very good question. I personally would be all for a systemic reaction shared universe. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Having like, Call of the Wild Reserve trailers where it's all like nice and peaceful, you have the calm voiceover, majestic shots of deer, and then T-Rex appears out of nowhere smushing them. Yeah, be awesome. But obviously, marketing,
realistically
brand.
Also, it's a bit hard.
Yes,
Just
coordinating.
all that stuff in.
Exactly. Game dev at the best of times is difficult to kind of manage. So when you're trying to coordinate between multiple projects, yeah. But I think it's a cool idea.
For sure. Last week we had a key competition that had fan art, caption this, and memes. And the fan art there especially stood out to me. There were some great entries. And before we wrap up this first stream, I would like us to have another look at those. So for you who haven't seen it or doesn't follow us on IG or Instagram, please do. It's instagram.com/second-extinction, and it's 2ND as second. So let's have a look at the first one. This one is so cool.
That is pretty cute.
It's very cute. A mirror and this little T-Rex, cute stuffed water gun, everything.
I kind of want a plushy T-Rex in the game now. Or just for real as well, that'd be awesome.
For sure. This is
Merchandising.
Nick Terry STHO on Instagram. You can also go into the Instagram and you will see everybody's tagged who has won these keys. Next one, it's edits by error. This is really cool too, almost like a logotype.
Yeah. Paint on the front of
Or a
a World War
tattoo.
II kind of plane or something like that on the nose.
Yeah,
Be
for
awesome.
sure. Yeah, I love these. They're so good. Next one up is Aurora Illustrations. This is intense. Damn, I
So
love this.
good.
And actually on our Discord, you could follow the whole process of this dude getting this done. Just from the start.
Cool. Have to watch that.
Really awesome. And then next up, we have J-Man the Angel. Nope. This one. This J-Man the Angel. And this guy actually, the guy, the little dude you see with the glasses, is a J-Man.
Ah,
So
okay.
I think it actually is the artist, and he paints himself into this different universe. His name is Jared. He's following us on Twitter too. And this one was the one that he competed with, but he also has colored ones. And yeah, it's really cool just following this little guy
That's awesome.
into different worlds.
Don't know why he'd want to be part of that universe. It's a pretty scary place, but
True.
it's cool.
And then we have Cryosis. And he keeps on doing these amazing, almost concept art. Just the different colors and dinosaurs.
Yeah, I love this stuff that we've been able to, the whole mutation dinosaur thing has this aspect that people kind of have latched onto and kind of run with. It's really nice.
It's really cool. And that is a wrap up for today. If you have any more questions for the team, please join our Discord. We have a channel there called Ask the Dev Team, and it's open during work hours. So just jump in there and write to us.
Yeah.
To join the Discord, it's discord.gg/second-extinction. Just spelled out all the way. Yeah, that's it for today.
Cool.
Thank you
Okay.
guys for watching, and I will see you next week at the same time with a new guest. But
Yeah, it could be a break. It'd be good. Bye.
thank you. Bye.